And so, welcome, Marsha. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing well. Thank you so much, Ali.
Cool. So, how was your day today?
My day was good. I'm happy to be here and learning a lot about the nonprofit world. So it's been a really good day.
So, we are waiting for Paulette. And while we are waiting for Paulette to join, I would like to welcome everyone that is joining live. And we are waiting for you as we are waiting for Paulette. And take a seat. We are already three in the LinkedIn, and hopefully YouTube is functioning. I will try it now to check if it's working. So, can you tell us about what we will cover this evening?
Yes, definitely. So I'm going to start off with a little bit who I am. I am the founder of Connect Impact Hub and also the community here on LinkedIn. We've all been pushing along this project, and here we are today. A little bit about who Connect Impact Hub is we are a nonprofit organization who is on a mission to end homelessness. And how we're going to do that is with your help. So, what we're doing is we're bringing in resources from different organizations into one hub location where we can assist our community members with resources such as food, utilities, housing, healthcare, anything you can imagine a community member who's our homeless population may need. And
Cool.
so,
So, welcome Noni and welcome Sandra. Aka LinkedIn user is Sandra. So, welcome. Feel
hello,
free to
Sam.
continue.
Yes. So, why are we having events called Let's Talk with Connect Impact Hub? So, we're having these events to learn and to also fundraise and to also come together, unite as communities, no matter where you're at in the world, to really come and have these conversations and learn about one another on how we can make an impact in the world.
Cool. And so, aside that, could you tell us more while I'm checking YouTube?
Yes, yes. So we're so why are we fundraising? That's one of the questions, right? We're fundraising because we are looking to get a van, and the van is our mobile, which will be able to go anywhere in the Houston area since Houston is our hub location. So we'll be able to go downtown, we'll be able to go anywhere in the Houston to assist our community members. So instead of them having to go to different organizations, we'll be able to come to them and serve them there. So I call this like a concierge service.
Mhm. Okay. So, welcome everyone. So, while we
Yeah.
are waiting Paulette, please take a seat and tell us who is going to join us during this week.
Mm-hmm. And also, if you have any questions, please put them in the comments because we can definitely answer those
Yes.
questions.
Yes.
Okay. So we have some wonderful guest speakers coming on to speak about different areas of expertise, financial literacy. Um, of course, that's huge. As you know, a lot of us who come from low income families, a lot of the conversations, we don't really speak about financial literacy, like financial education. So we'll be able to address those questions and also talk about how we can implement that into our own lives. We also have, hi Jane, I see your comment. I love
Hi,
this.
Jane.
And we're also going to have guest speakers from different sectors, like in the tech industry also, like how can we use tech to assist our community members. We also have advocacy as well, the importance of advocacy in the workplace. and also as an employee, and why it's so important to work in an organization or anywhere, even for ourselves, in an environment that's positive. And then we have you, Ali, how you represent us all and how you bring unity among us here on LinkedIn.
Me?
Yeah,
No. You are bringing unity, Marsha. You are bringing unity.
and you also brought us as well, like you've taught me about boundaries as well. And so, you know,
Hmm.
I appreciate you for that.
Oh, thank you, thank you. And welcome, Deirdre. I don't see you in the comments on StreamYard, but I see you, Restream, but I see you on LinkedIn, so welcome. And Noni has a question that I will show. So, how do you find community members? Do you search through local agencies or is it through referral?
Yeah. No, it's actually on the go. Like right now, where I'm serving is I am providing care bags to our community members, but I'm also assisting through the Nextdoor app. So the Nextdoor app, there's a lot of community members that will post there that they're needing resources. So what I do, I just reply to them and assist them with whatever resource they're looking for. And then if they need any further assistance, they'll connect with me. Great question. Thank you, Noni. But the goal is, as we continue to move forward, it is for us to work with community organizations. And it's definitely going to be, there's going to be referrals because, again, I want to be able to be open to everybody and be able to assist and not decline helping others, because that's really the goal here, is to help all.
Hmm. And then later this week, tomorrow we will welcome Jane as a guest, if I remember well. And not in the order because I don't remember the order, but we will welcome also Jason, Rebecca, Leah,
Aram.
and Aram. Yeah, yeah, Aram tomorrow, I think. I'm not sure, but it's we will welcome
And Leah.
from tomorrow. Yeah, and Leah, a
Yes.
guest. Yeah.
So I know I see a lot of my wonderful friends here, but there's people out there that don't know me. So I do want to talk about a little bit about how I got into this type of work of giving back and what motivated me. So I want to definitely share that the LinkedIn community has definitely been a great support system along this process. I actually started sharing my journey here when I was doing the advocacy work in New York, and I also did case management here in Houston. So I was able to share those stories of the people that I was helping. In New York, I was helping mostly our Spanish-speaking elder community, who were considered low income and also considered homeless as well. So some of them lived under circumstances that really no person should live. And then here in Houston, single moms who were considered homeless as well. So I found in this work that there was definitely a lack of resources that were being provided. And there were so many steps that had to be taken from them in order to get the help, but then just to be told you have to wait. And so that wait, depending on what resource they're needing, it could take weeks, years in some cases, which sometimes some people, they can't wait that long. They need the help now. And so that's where we're looking into bridging that gap and finding out how can we all come together to assist when the need is needed right now. So even in apartment complexes, I recently asked an apartment property manager if they had any resources that they offer their community in case their community, they're struggling with either food or paying rent or utilities. And their reply to me was, no, we don't have any resources that we offer. So that's a bridge we're hoping to also close, and by providing them a list of resources that they can share within their community. So this is the beauty of collaboration is we can all help one another out. We can all find solutions to this problem. We can all prevent evictions. We can all prevent homelessness, and we can all solve in ending homelessness.
Okay, cool. So now, Noni have another question.
So, do you have any partnerships in mind that would be a good source of collaboration? Maybe, oh, yes, that's a good question, Noni. Yes, so a good partnership that I would love to have is definitely with healthcare. Um, a lot of the times, what I found in this work is the lack of care that the the person they're so worried of taking care of everything else that their health is the last thing they're thinking about. So I definitely want to partner with healthcare organizations, also with hospitality, and also the food industry and transportation, because all of these industries and even education, all of them play a part when it comes to our daily lives. So that's a great question, Noni. There's so many different partnerships that we definitely want to have um, to assist us as we move forward. Thank you so much for that question, Noni.
Thank you so much, Noni. And the next question is from Sandra.
Have you thought about outreach and habit for humanity? They
And
accept
here
me.
is Paulette. Welcome, Paulette.
Hi, Paulette.
Hi, sorry, I've had a nightmare.
Well, welcome, welcome. We're answering a question from Sandra. It shows LinkedIn user on our end, but Ali
Yeah,
said,
I see Sandra in LinkedIn. So, but it's
"Oh,
the reason it
oh,
doesn't show on Restream, but
no."
I see it.
Okay, so Sandra,
Sandra
that's a
Rodney? I know Sandra Rodney.
Yeah,
um,
Sandra Washington.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes, I know Sandra. Okay, okay, Sandra. Sandra, no, I have not spoken to outreaching. I haven't spoke to the habit of for humanity. They accept vehicles for donations and may be able to donate. Ooh, thank you. I'll definitely write that down, Sandra. Thank you so much for saying that. That's good to know. Yeah, so we definitely need a van. Our van is definitely going to be our go-to office. And the team that will be in that van will definitely be the sources that we need in order to bring them. It's not going to be me. I need help. So we definitely need that support in healthcare, social work, case management, to address our clients as they come to us so that we can provide them the necessary resources that they need. So thank you so much. I'm writing
Cool.
that down. So Ollie and Paulette, can you both introduce yourselves, please? Because we're all here together. I've been speaking a lot. so please introduce yourselves and let everyone know how we all connected. Why are we
So,
here?
Paulette first. Paulette, you can go first.
I'm so stressed. I nearly
Take a
threw
breath.
my iPad away. Um, right, okay. Paulette Hallam. I'm an ex-corporate girl. Now I'm a philanthropy, and just willing to put myself back out there for humanity, really. And met up with Martha on LinkedIn and Ollie, of course. And since then, it's just been a joy to meet people that are like-minded and willing to put themselves out for other people. The world needs more people like Martha and Ollie. So, as far as I'm concerned, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, and the world needs also more people like Paulette. You are also so amazing. We are amazing. We are all amazing, and the people in the audience also, Lisa, Noni, and Leslie. Leslie is here. Amazing, Leslie.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Thank you, Paulette, so much. And we're here. We're here with Connect Impact Hub, Paulette. She put that fire in there, and we're here. So, Paulette, thank you.
You're entirely welcome. And it was a fire that was already simmering. It just needed a little bit more gas, that was all.
Exactly. That's why we need each other to support each other. Because Paulette, you are amazing in doing your own juice. I am amazing in doing my tech juice. And Marsha is amazing in mobilizing people and bringing energy and go, go, go. Because
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, for those that were able to be there yesterday, feel free, Marsha, if you want to repeat the story. But you told the story of Anita yesterday, and it is the reason why you are doing that is to really to empower community members and to avoid that these kind of things is reproducing. So from me, I am a neuro language coach. I live in Brussels, Belgium, and there are also a lot of community members in my city. In fact, in every city in the world, there are community members. And it's so sad because there are sometimes they are helped, but it sounds like too much out there. And also some community members are not asking for help or doesn't want to ask for help. So I'm passionate about language and also human connections. And I must admit also that for me it's not easy to see the reality in front of me and to give a smile. Most of the time, sadly, I still look away and go my way. And but I'm trying my best to at least say hello and to smile. But it's really it's really difficult because it's ingrained in my habits. So Marsha, feel free to
Yeah.
continue.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Ali, for sharing. Paulette, appreciate you both. It is hard. It is definitely hard to see. And it's harder as well when you see someone you know out there. So I actually did experience that with a family member um, who went down the wrong path. Childhood trauma hit, and they don't really teach us about how to cope with these things. You just kind of have to figure it out as a kid. So watching this family member go from a healthy young man to walking around in the neighborhood that we grew up in. And I also did the same thing, Ollie. I also turned away, but it was tough, like to watch someone be so healthy to get so low in their lives. Now, we're lucky that he did survive, but not everyone survives. And that's exactly what happened with Anita. So I met Anita. I'm not even sure what the time frame was from the time that she passed, but I met her right before she passed away. And Anita was known in the community as the lady at the parking lot, the Target parking lot. And she would just sit there with her blankets, and people would come and talk to her. And this is what I'm hearing from the community. They would come and talk to her, and they would try to offer her assistance, and she would kindly decline. From what the share has been is that Anita was a retired teacher who was battling cancer. When I met her, I was trying to give her care bags and snacks, and she declined. She said, "No, thank you, ma'am." But when I pulled, up next to her, I had to be. You have to be cautious because you don't want to just come. You don't want to come up to anyone and they're not open to accepting you, right? So from a distance, I asked if she would like anything, any snacks that I had, and she kindly said no. But we did make eye contact. She did smile, and she did show me that she had some water from Panda Express. And so, as I was in the car, I felt extremely warm, even though she had just declined my help, which was very little help. But at the same time, I felt this emotional feeling inside, like, why am I feeling so emotional? Well, little did I know that she would end up passing away either a couple days later or a week later. She passed away in that same parking lot. And so everyone in the community started talking about her, how she would compliment everyone, how she was so sweet. And so I had no idea who they were talking about. So I ended up going back to that parking lot maybe 2 weeks later. And there was that same memorial with the picture and everything. And I'm like, I can't even recognize her in the picture. But that was Anita, who was the lady at the Target. And everyone said she was just the sweetest little lady, but always declined help. So this is why this is why the mission is big, because this is Anita's one, but there's so many people out there that are being found on the streets anywhere in the world, deceased. And so the question is, why are they declining the help? So those are definitely questions I will be asking, because I want to know why. Those questions have been asked when I was doing the advocacy work in New York. And their reply was, well, they're asking for too many criterias. And what happens is sometimes our community members are dealing with mental health issues. They're dealing with their pains in their bodies. They don't have paper. They don't have a computer technology. They don't know where to go for help. So this is why I'm inspired, because I know that with the mobile, we coming to them, we're able to assist, more like holding their hands to get them from step 1 to step 2, and letting them know that they're actually going to get helped at right now in the present time, because that's what they want. I mean, imagine Ollie and Paulette, if you go from place to place and you're being told, no, you got to wait. I was looking at resources yesterday for housing to assist with paying rent, and all of them are closed. So what's going to happen is, if you cannot get assistance, what's going to happen is you're going to get evicted if you can't pay your rent. And where are you going to go? You're going to go and live in your car, or you're going to go live in the streets, or you're going to try to sleep on someone's couch. And then what? So if you're sleeping on someone's couch, that's considered a roof over your head. So you have somewhere to stay. So I tell you, though, they just keep hitting wall after wall after wall, and that's where we have to change that. And how do we do that? It starts with us. It starts with us speaking about it. It starts with us making loud noises and uniting for change. Because it's them today, but it could be us tomorrow. It could be us or our children or our family. So that's why we have to, I'm not saying we have to, but I'm asking you to please unite with Connect Impact Hub. Please bring your organizations. I'm desperately asking for assistance from our healthcare industry to create programs, and I'll be happy to help you with that, where we can assist our community members when they come in for services. What I notice is when they come in, or they even call, is they tend to just address the problem that's happening right now. And once that problem is addressed, here's a list of resources, here's a piece of paper. Mind you, they don't have a phone most of the time. They don't have anywhere where they're going to put that resource. So let's get involved. Let's get our case managers, our social workers, to hold their hands and actually walk them through the steps, and not just throw them back to the streets to figure it out. That's why I'm passionate about this, because I know there's a solution to this, and it starts with us.
Martha, can you also just mention the thing that made me cry? That was when you told me about the family that both the parents were working. They'd been evicted out of their flat for missing a rent payment, She'd got another job, but there wasn't enough time to get the rent paid. They got evicted. They're living in a car so that they can actually save the money, because now they've got this eviction notice against them. They have to save extra, was it so many months rent to put down payments. They're living in their car, two
Yes.
people and two children.
Mhm.
It broke my
Yes.
heart to imagine that. And they're
Yes.
working.
So there are programs. So like here in Houston, there's this particular program that is designed to help the community members if they have an eviction on their record, to assist them in getting them back into housing. But how does that happen? Well, there's lots of fees that are involved, and they basically sign a contract, and that contract could be $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 contract. So every month they pay their rent, but on top of paying their rent, they're also paying the fees. So they're still going to be in the same position that they were probably in before, and they might end up falling back again into homelessness. So this is why we need solutions to these problems and actually helping them get back on their feet. No children should be sleeping in the car. No parents, no grandparents. We have to have these solutions in place. And it starts with even the organizations where you live, like your apartment complex, your housing. They should have resources available. I was shocked. There was no resources available for anyone. So what happens is, if you don't pay your rent in 10 days, or you miss 5 days after that, you're evicted. You get a notice. There's a process that happens internally, but you get an eviction notice, and then you appear in court, but at the same time you're stressing, like, what am I going to do if you're not working? God forbids you lose your job. What are you going to do? Do you have a backup plan? I mean, I know a lot of us are living paycheck to paycheck, so do we have backup plans? And so that's what we have to think really loud, like, it's them today, it could be us tomorrow. Thank you, Paulette, for bringing that up.
Also,
Thank
the
you,
other
Paulette.
thing to mention is the shelters. People are frightened to go in the shelters. Explain that as well.
Yes. So when I was advocating in New York, I had been working. I'm going to mention this case because he sticks out. He was 64 years old, and he was living in a basement. And the basement would fill up with water every time it rained. So I was working with him and trying to get him into housing because he was diabetic. He wasn't taking care of his diabetes, and I was helping him, trying to get back on his regimen, to make sure he's on his medicine, making sure he's going to his visits. Well, diabetes was not the top priority. The top priority was him trying to get into housing. He had been on the wait list for Section 8 for 2 years. Nothing was happening. He called. They said, "Oh, you're still on the wait list. Sorry, there's still nothing happening. You just have to keep checking in, but you'll get a letter in the mail. Okay, to let you know if you've been accepted." So he was getting so frustrated that he finally told me that he's because I offered, "Do you want to go to the shelter? Let's call the shelters to see who's accepted." No, because I've heard nothing but horror stories about the shelters from my friends. They're insulin. At nighttime, people are getting abused. They're getting hurt. And so he said, "No, I would rather live in this basement that gets filled with water than to go and sleep at the shelter." So everyone that I spoke with when I was doing my advocacy, they all refused the shelter. Nobody wanted to go to the shelter. Now, there are shelters that do offer to pay for you to stay at a hotel. That's a little bit more accommodating because you have your own private space, but not all shelters do that. I also learned that not all shelters accept clients. So they'll accept who they choose to accept. And that I've learned as well. So that was an eye-opener as well. I know I see a couple of questions coming, so
I'm just showing that. So Annie, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
And Scott also, we will see Scott a bit later this week. Jane, we will see her tomorrow also. And Lisa. And so, and also Scott. Again, thank you again.
Thank you.
And Jane.
Thank you. Thank you. We see your messages. Lisa said, "You're so right, Martha. We don't have to help. We get to help because tomorrow it can be us or someone we know." Yes, definitely, Lisa. Thank you, Scott. And then Jane said, most caseworkers and social workers are overloaded. How do we support them? Great question, Jane. That's a great question. How do we support? So in healthcare, we have different types of teams. We have administration. We also have, our nurse department. We have our tech department. We have the education department. I definitely would recommend us combining for help. We can assist by combining some departments to assist our caseworkers and our social workers. Or this is what I was thinking out loud earlier today, was getting those students that are in those courses, getting them that hands-on experience through volunteer work. That's how we can get them that support, Jane. That's a great question. Thank you for asking. And I see Jane also said, appreciate the transparency. Yeah. And I think that's definitely something that we do see. We don't see a lot is the transparency. We don't know what's happening unless we're out there and asking the questions. And then when we are, what are we going to do about it? That's action. Paulette, I thank you for that. That is action, right? Are we going to sit back or are we going to take action?
I just was going to remind you as well, just because I'm just remembering so many stories you told me about the neighbour who put a note out saying that she couldn't afford her rent. And you tell the story how beautiful that ended.
Oh, yes. So we had a neighbor here that had just had surgery. She was working as a waitress at the Denny's. And she had posted that she wasn't able to afford her rent and she needed help if we knew of any resources. So this was on the Nextdoor app. So I responded to the post with resources, local resources, and anything else she may need. And then there was not just me, there was a list of neighbors that came together. But one of the questions that really poked out was, are you sure she's in need? There was a lot of questioning around that. Are you sure she's telling the truth? Are you sure she's being honest? And so one of the gentlemen that was actually leading this, there was someone that was leading this on her behalf. He said, I have called the property that she lives, and I did confirm that she is behind on her rent. She needs help. So between all the neighbors, her rent was able to be gathered and her rent was paid. And she was just so thankful that the community had came to help her. That's just one case. But imagine if we could all do that for one another, if we could all come together and help each other out instead of saying, like in this case, people did speak down on the situation, like, well, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Again, sometimes we can't do it. She had just had surgery. There was so much that she could do. So we have to speak up if we need help. And I'm always saying that. If you need help, ask. If you don't ask, we won't know. But if you ask, we will know, and we could see what we could do amongst the community. In this case, she was getting poured. Everyone was pouring into her. Food came to her. And so that is just amazing. I'm like, can we do that with everybody? Can we pour into everybody? But again, the society that we live in, we have to be cautious as well. But at the same time, let's not be so judgmental. as well, because that's what's stopping us from caring for one another. Thank you, Paulette.
Hmm.
Yeah. Oh, I'm catching my breath, guys. So,
Yeah.
Paulette, why don't you share, like here in Houston, I'm going to share a little bit, and then I would love to hear from you also, like what you're seeing when you go out in public. What are you seeing? So, here in the Houston area, in the downtown area, I see a lot of young people, a lot of young men in particular that are homeless. Um, and there are a lot of resources down there, but a lot of them hang out by the bus stops. Some of them are um, under substance. You can see that as you're driving by there. Mental health, but I don't see support out there. I don't see any support. Everyone is just kind of hanging out. So imagine if there's a support there and they're able to come and get assisted. Like, just think about it. Now, outside of the Houston downtown area, there's a lot of our elder population between, like, I'm not saying 30s elder, but between the ages of 30 and 65. So I do know where they're located. I do see them often, and I do pass them care bags. I'm mostly on the outskirts of the downtown area because the downtown area has a lot of support systems there locally, um, versus outside of the downtown area. So, Paulette, go ahead and share what you're seeing in your part of the world.
Yeah, I don't actually think it's just America. I don't want you to think that, it's I think this is a pandemic. I think homelessness is a global pandemic. I think it's every single country is in the same position. I do believe there is an awful lot of young men who can't get jobs, and eventually their family decide that you either get a job or you're flung out, and then that happens. Or maybe sexuality is an issue. Maybe it's because of maybe the parents have found out about substance or drugs or alcohol, but they find themselves between the ages of, and this is one of my big bugbears. It's from sort of 16, 18 up to 25, 27, 28, that kind of age. And so many of them have come from the care sector. So you've gone through the care system, and then you get flung out of the care system. And I mean, literally, you have to go into work, and then you're in a halfway house or whatever. But if you don't pay the rent, the same thing happens that's happening in your country. They end
Mhm.
up on the streets, they're under the bridge. Every single bridge has got, so many people sleeping under it. The latest thing they said, I mean, during COVID, everybody was given a hotel room. Every single person was given a hotel room. I appreciate the hotels were empty, but every person was given by our country, and I think pretty much around the world, most people homeless people were given a roof over their heads because of the
Mhm.
fear of contamination, right?
Right.
So if we can do it because of a pandemic, and I appreciate it costs a fortune, but if you can do it because of a pandemic, why not do it and then go around one by one and find out what the problem is to each person, send the people around, and then they won't just get into this spiral of going into a shelter, out of a shelter, back on the streets, back in, back and round again. And it seems to me that the people that I know that are dealing with this, going out and giving coats, Mac was telling me about a friend of his I spoke to goes out every Thursday, and they deliver food, they deliver coats when it's cold, and hats and gloves and shoes, socks, you name it. But this is disgusting. With 2024, and
Mhm.
and people are having to have soup kitchens. People are having to go to food banks, and they're both working. Something has gone wrong. We appreciate the economies in every country was completely thrown to the dogs in COVID. absolutely accept that. Nobody was ready for it. But if we can put people up when we're frightened of a disease, why
Yes.
can't we just take it back to that stage and say, okay, let's for 1 month, let's spend as much resource, as much time helping as many of these people. Maybe you wouldn't eradicate it, but you would certainly find out what the real problems are. And then maybe we find out what's going on in these damn shelters. And maybe the shelters need to be literally, the management gets slung out and new people go in. But it can't carry on. This is an absolute pandemic of homelessness.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got to do something. And it's not our country, it's every country,
Yeah.
the world
Yeah,
over.
I so agree, and I can add also that it's what is sad is that it's a quick fix. There is no tackling the root cause of the problem, and it's always a quick fix. I remind myself in France there was also a movie about that. It's called Hiver 54. In fact, it's a Winter 54 because in France in the Winter 54 it was so freezing, like minus 20 degrees or minus 30 degrees or whatever. And there was this call from a guy called Abbé Pierre, who was really helping the community members in France. At that time, it was 70 years ago. And he was making this huge call about helping that. But it should be a call to action to tackle the root cause, and not only when it's minus 20 degrees or when it's 50 degrees or when it's a pandemic or whatever. I truly believe that we need to tackle the root cause, and the root cause is go on the I don't want to go into the details about that, but I think it's the runaway train of capitalism, where if you cannot follow, you are left aside. You know, if you cannot follow to pay your rent, if you cannot follow to find enough income, then you are left aside, and that's so sad because it is going to repeat. If we don't tackle the root cause, we can fix this or this, but it's like having a tire with 100 holes and just trying to fix the holes. But as long as we fix the holes, there are new holes that are appearing. So I truly believe it's really a call to also politics, because what is sad is that nothing is made for homelessness. Nothing is made for drugs and for the despair of the youngsters, and that's also what saddened me.
Mm-hmm. Wow, what wonderful shares. Well, I do have to share, I don't know if you both know, but Finland has actually they've been able to successfully control their homeless population by housing them and getting the assistance from the government. So I recently found out about that and learned that what they're doing is they're providing the housing because they need housing in order, to get stability back. And once they get into housing, then they have the case managers that are assigned to them that are helping them with either rehab, mental health support, getting them jobs. So they're actually helping them get back on their feet. So right now, I only know Finland as a success story. And I also found out that Japan has cafes that are running 24 hours a day where they're providing food, they're providing internet, and also they can sleep on the floor. They don't have beds because it's a 24-hour cafe, but they also provide undergarments and showers for community members to go in and have a warm, safe place to sleep. So I wanted to share that because I just recently learned of that. So like you said, we have to address the root cause. And Paulette, I did recently read that they are as young as 16 years old that are homeless, are runaways from the foster care parents. This is huge. And we have, young youth out there that shouldn't be out there. And thank you, Jane. I see your question.
The
What do
problem
you
is,
do?
Martha, those young boys and young girls, they're so vulnerable and they are so easily taken advantage of. And that's what's so scary,
Mhm.
because you put people in a predicament where they are going to be at risk of all kinds of things. And, if you think it's your son or your daughter, you couldn't bear it, You couldn't bear to think what could happen to them. But it could happen.
Yes,
It's a reality.
it is. It is definitely a reality. And so it's it's hitting too close, to all of us, and we have to do something. While we're on that conversation, I don't want it to go away, but I wanted to share what happened with my family member. My family member was homeless because of drug abuse, and I remember when I heard them saying that when they at nighttime it would get so cold, they were sleeping on benches, it would get so cold that they had to use drugs in order to stay warm. So finding solutions when you're out there, when you don't have anything, I can see why there's such a high amount of people on drugs, because they're trying to survive. They're trying to stay warm. They're trying to forget their problems. So thank you for that, Paulette. I appreciate that spotlighting that, because we need attention in our foster care system. Why is our youth running away from the parents? What are we doing as a system, like, to help these children that are coming from situations that may be traumatic? Are we helping them, or are we making it worse?
Prison. If you look at the numbers, they end up in prison. Young offenders and then prison. It's just like an absolute horrendous situation. It really is a horrendous
It really,
situation.
it is. And then they end up homeless.
I,
Yeah,
Yeah,
after
and
all that, yeah.
most of the time it's also because they cannot adapt to the school system. Because I was watching a webinar also that most of the offenders were neurodivergent or autistic, and the school system was not able to support them, and so they end up leaving school.
yeah. So, yeah, this is.
So from your point of view, I know this is the first one, and I don't want to be too pushy, but I will be. So what are we asking people to do today? What do we actually want from this webinar to actually work for
Mhm.
Connect Impact Hub?
Yes. So what we want is, we definitely want partnerships. So I'm particularly looking for the housing industry, as well as the food industry, hospitality, um, education. And so, and also we're fundraising for our mobile. So we need to have these resources in order to be able to assist our community members. Now, I definitely want to say that we're starting the hub here in Houston, but there is obviously a bigger picture to all of this, because it's not just Houston. Whatever we're doing here is also going to eventually assist others in different parts of the world. That's the goal. So we are looking for partnerships, and we're always looking for volunteers. Thank you, Paulette. Appreciate that. And we do
Yeah,
have a fundraiser as well. The link is here, the QR code. If you'd like to donate to the mobile empowerment, we're calling it, that would be amazing. And please share as well. And if you have any questions, or if you have any issues with the link, just send me a message, either here on LinkedIn, or you can send me an email at connectimpacthub@gmail.com. Now, we are fairly new 501c3, so please just bear with us as we are all just getting everything into the process and moving, but we're very excited. I did see a question from Jane, and I wanted to answer it. It was I think it was.
About burnout.
Sorry, Jane. Yeah, burnout. Yeah, that was a great question, by the way. um, so you know who's taught me about boundaries? Ollie. So Sundays I've learned to just take off, um, because I have to take care of myself. And so for anyone, you have to take care of yourself. You are priority. I remember someone telling me, how are you going to help other people when you're not even helping yourself? If they had a real conversation with me. And I said, you're right. I got to start taking care of myself, because I won't be able to take care of nobody, not even my son, if I continue the way I was doing. Sorry if you hear my dog in the background. He's crying like someone's hurting him. But great question, Jane. I appreciate you, my friend. And
but the more volunteers you get, Martha, the less likely you are to get burnt out. So that would be another good reason to get lots of volunteers.
Yes. And we need volunteers to pass out care bags. We need volunteers to come out and hang out with us and see what's happening, and to not mind getting their hands dirty, not mind giving toilet paper out, it's basic needs, right? Not giving socks out, giving undergarments out, just coming out and passing food. Like, this is a community assistance that we're needing, actually. I don't have a P.O. box, Jane. That's a good question, but I do have our address where donations can go to. Great question.
Feel free to save this poor soul that is crying.
Yes, I know. I hear him in the background. I'll be right back. I'll be right
Yeah,
back.
of course,
Get him out, because he's going to be doing
some
that.
love. He needs some love and hugs and poor little soul. So, Paulette, thank you also for joining us. And are you? Where are you in UK? I forgot.
Cambridgeshire.
Cambridgeshire. Okay. Yeah. So is it a small city or not?
Yeah, we're in a fairly small city. I mean, but there are people homeless even in our city. And Cambridge is Cambridge University. It's a famous, amazing place to go to university, and they're saying there are homeless people under the bridges in Cambridge, and they were trying to move them on, and they're saying it's not good for tourism, and it's not good for when they do the punting down the river and all this kind of stuff. And you're like, come on, guys, I appreciate all of those factors, but don't just move people on. Find out what the problem is, find out why they're there. I just don't understand this. It's like people have got these large brooms and they just need to sweep the problem along, and hope they can find a big enough piece of carpet to sort of brush it under. And it's never going to go away that way. We can't keep sticking plasters on things. We have to go back, as Ollie said, to the root cause, find the reason, fix the problem, and get some kind of sort of full stop in there. Because at the moment, it just seems to be a big fat comma and nothing happens. Nothing.
Exactly.
And I know that you're doing great work. I know you are, Martha, but it's only one Martha,
Yeah, I need more. We need more.
We need more, Marsha. We need to clone you. So, but I love to say the metaphor. They are not like Amazon boxes. Like they are human beings. It's not like, it's disturbing, let's move them anywhere else. No, they are not like Amazon boxes.
Oh my.
Exactly.
Right. Another share that Teddy just reminded me was pets. Our community members who have pets. There's so many. that, they can't get into housing because they don't have the money, but they can't get into shelters either because they have a pet. So we need more assistance in that area when it comes to our pets, because when we're being asked that we need to get rid of our pets in order to get shelter, it's like saying you got to get rid of your family member, your child, so you can get shelter. And what do you think is going to happen? They're not going to want to get rid of their pets. There was a gentleman here locally, he had 3 little dogs. He was living in a tent, and he couldn't get into a shelter because they told him to get rid of his 3 little dogs. So he was
Yeah,
in a tent with his 3
the,
dogs.
the pets are really also important for regulating their nervous system, because they are even, it's not easy for them. What I heard a few years ago, I think it's still existing. I remember there was the Prince Laurent, who is the brother of the King Philip, actual King of Belgium. Few years or 10 years ago, he founded a foundation, a shelter foundation, to just welcome those community members that are at pet. So this kind of initiative needs to be done, because they are essential for regulating their nervous system. I see even even people that Crystal, or other people, or Jane, as their own pet, because it's really important for their nervous system, or for having tenderness, or because they don't have so much tenderness. So it's the only tenderness they have comes through their pets, their dogs.
Yes.
Yeah, we had a thing at funny enough, at Tesco's, which is a big supermarket in the UK, and they were actually asking people to donate dog food and biscuits and all kinds of anything like pet related treats and things like that, as well as the normal food, as well as the normal stuff, because they were saying there's so many people that are going to the food banks that have got animals, and they can't afford to buy their pets food. So it's just awful.
It certainly is. So pets, they're our family. We're not going to get rid of them. It's not happening. So
Exactly.
I know we're getting close on time. So any last words?
Well, for me, we have a whole week for that. We have still 6 days, and we can talk a lot of things together, and also with our guest, Jane, Aram, Scott, and I forgot, Leah, and yeah. So bear with us. It will still be 6 weeks, 6 days. 6 days? No, no, no. It's already amazing. 6 weeks. I don't want to make it 6 weeks, but 6 days is already amazing. It's a marathon, but it's for them. It's for bringing awareness, and we are 28 arrive actually on LinkedIn. This is our record. I never had, even in my shows, I never had more than 20. So we are 38. So you are mobilizing a lot of people and for making a change. So what are your final words, Marsha?
Yeah. So my final words is please, please be a part of the movement. Connect Impact Hub. Tag us. Donate if you can. Volunteer if you can. Go out and do something in your communities. Put it on social media. Please share it. The more we can continue to share what we're doing, the more we can unite, the more we can make a difference together. We can't do this by ourselves. We need your help. And so I'm asking for you to unite with us and come and just be a part of the movement, because this is a big movement and we need you. Thank you. Paulette?
I just want your money. No, not really. I would like your money, but I would also like. I'm very honest. No, we really do need as much money in the pot as possible, but also we want collaborations. We want to work with companies. We want to work with people who have excess product and don't know what to do with it. You know, let's talk. Let's have those communications. People that work on LinkedIn who are working for these big, you know, FMCG companies, the big food suppliers, you know, if they've got stock of products that they don't need, that we can have, let's talk. We got to collaborate. We've got to be smart about this. If we can't have your money, please can we have your products? So, you know, or both. Either way, we'll accept all of it, won't we, Ollie?
Yes, we
Yes,
will.
or at least visibility, because if you share, it will create ripple effect because your network will be aware. So last but not least, I show some comments. So thank you again, Jane. We will see you tomorrow, I think. And we are 39 right now, so it's even one more. Like, share, and subscribe. So I'm going to bear with me to show you again the link here of the link tree. And we have also a YouTube channel. I posted in the comments. I will repost it because it's also great to have 40, 40, 40. Amazing. 40 people watching. Amazing. And also the QR code or the link. And so see you each day, same hour, 1 hour before, so that it will happen each day up till Sunday. So my final word is I truly hope that we can make a difference, and sadly, we have to make a difference, each of us, because if we wait for others to make a difference, then maybe some people will make a difference, but we have to begin by ourselves, and bringing also awareness, bringing visibility, and also gathering each other's, because I think we have a lot of ideas that we can implement. And so all around the world, any idea is welcome that could be implemented all around the world. We need the network of the support for community members. So any final word, Marsha, before I close the room?
I really want to thank you, Ollie and Paulette, for joining me on this marathon. And I want to thank everyone that's here on LinkedIn, that's watching in YouTube. You all have been such a wonderful support. And I am just so thankful to have you be part of Connect Impact Hub, because you are part of Connect Impact Hub. So thank you all so much. And please share, please like, comment. If you can't donate, just show us love. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank
Lots of
you.
love.
Thank you. Subscribe and share this video to your network, so that tomorrow we will break the record, probably 60 tomorrow, who knows. So see you tomorrow, and thank you again. Going to end the streaming in 5,